what was really amazing in my whole trip in Taiwan. And then was from one day trip on exploring that and seeing that first time, something like that.
Hi!
Hello! Welcome to Taiwan.
You welcome to Taiwan.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I'm Rene. I'm from Switzerland, visiting Lucy and the family here in Taiwan. Visiting Taiwan, traveling around, try to make some photos and impressions to get home.
So how long have you been in Taiwan?
That's now roughly 3 weeks. That's a short time actually.
But you managed to do a lot in that time.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. But when you're traveling, it's the same. It's like you're always finding out about more spots and stuff. I've seen quite a lot actually, yeah.
Tell us where you've been.
Because I found out about the Lantern Festival in Pingxi area, the town called Shifen. So I came a day earlier and I've seen that, what was really amazing, what was very impressive, seeing this hundreds of lanterns going on. I was thinking like it's one event, one happening, one stage, whatever. But the most interesting thing is seeing the private people coming, getting their lanterns, getting their wishes on it and writing and all that stuff, and they just let it go even on the rail track. And then was like security guys chase them away when the next train is coming. That was my concern a bit, that it's like made up for tourists. Like it started maybe with some kind of tradition, but then it's growing bigger and bigger. So that's hundreds of tourists coming for seeing like a fake or former traditional happening, but it wasn't like that. I haven't seen so many tourists there. And the most tourists I talked to, they've been expats who lived here and went there maybe even for the first time in 3 or 4 years. But the main thing is people coming, Taiwanese people are coming and putting their wishes on the lanterns and let them go and hoping for a great new year, and it was nice to watch.
It's very genuine.
Yeah, right. My surprise, this was accommodation in Jilin, and it was really just at the night market.
Yeah.
Every day I had troubles to get out of my accommodation. That was always blocked by some vendors and stuff. It was fun. In the morning there was market, in the evening there was a night market.
Oh, I didn't realize there was a market in the morning too.
Yeah, there was always something around there, and yeah, get up in the morning, go getting a coffee or so. I have to go through the vegetable stuff and getting to my coffee, whatever. So it was fun. It was really nice. Yeah.
While you were here, you managed to tour around Taipei, go to Taroko Gorge.
Yes, yeah.
And do some hikes there.
Yeah.
Go to Green Island.
Yes, yeah.
And then Tainan before coming back to Taipei.
Exactly, yeah.
So you made
because we're running out of time actually.
Why were you running out of time? Tell them. What did you do?
I was actually planning having 2 big areas to explore. That was Taipei and that was for Tainan. But then there came Taroko Gorge into the game. So I was thinking okay, there's quite the public transport is nice here and is really working well. So I catch a train, went off to Taroko Gorge, spent there 2 nights, went around the gorge, which is amazing. It's bigger, it's deeper, it's long. It stretches along the mountains, beautiful views, many stops, up to over 2,000 meters above sea level, 2,500 almost. Turned around, then I found a little hike, not too strenuous, not too long, and also the waterfall was not that much water, but I was expecting from a waterfall coming from the Swiss Alps, But there was the tunnels, and there was this waterfall inside the tunnel. What was amazing, like a curtain coming just out of nowhere of the ceiling of the tunnel, and exploring that and seeing that first time, something like that in my life, So that was an amazing experience, and it was very funny. I didn't expect going along the East Coast, but want to go back because of the fast trains going back to Taipei and then to Tainan, and then checking the maps. Oh, there's a hot spring. And found out the hot spring is on Green Island. No, I want to go to Green Island, taking the boat and ferry ride and whatever. But I found out this hot spring is so special in the world. There's only 3 of them. One is in Italy, one is in Japan, and one is here in Taiwan. So that in Japan is not even accessible anymore because of earthquake. So I have like 2 chances to get this kind of hot spring, what appears under the ocean and coming up as a hot spring in the ocean, and then they're having some pools and you can go in. And then I considered and said like, let's check the train rides. Then getting a ferry then, and then was from 1 day trip on Ludao, the Green Island. It stayed 5 nights there because it was so beautiful little island. Yeah.
So you got a motorcycle?
And they're very clever. When you're asking for accommodation, they offer you like, we're going to organize a scooter for you and then going around. And that's beautiful.
It's very easy.
Yeah.
Even without the language?
Yeah. There are on Green Island, I've been talking to people, also here. The main tourists are from mainland Taiwan. They're not seeing a lot of like overseas tourists. Not yet, maybe. You always find some people they able to translate or helping you translate. What is really amazing in my whole trip in Taiwan, the people are willing to try to understand and to help. They even approach me and ask me, can I help you? Like happened to me now in the bus. A young lad sitting next to me and was like asking, oh, where you going? Can I help you to get there?
On the bus?
On the bus, just like out of the blue, you know, like really, really nice. Then you go for food, they show you what kind of food they have, and then you just pick something, and really nice, really nice.
And you said even people were approaching you for photos, right?
Oh yeah, like as a solo traveler, there are many people coming to me and like asking me like, can I make a photo from you? You want to have a selfie from you? It's very nice. But also making photo together or like this, you know? Or I see somebody and say like, that looks nice for a photo, you know. They're very open for photos and we have a lot of fun with that. And it's one way to get in touch with people and then you're talking about, or maybe send them the photos, however, and that's really nice.
Oh, that's so lovely. Rene is vegetarian, but it hasn't been as easy to find vegetarian food in Taiwan. You found something vegetarian.
Yeah. So what I usually do is I'm going around and see what kind of food they're offering or is in display. There are some beans and other vegetables and noodles. And I was asking like, oh, I would like to have those ones. And then I said like, yeah, you have rice. And they looked at me a bit startled and said, no rice. Like, yeah, but noodles. Yeah, noodles. And then I was like, yeah, but is it hot? And then they said, no, cold. Like, okay, that's something strange, but I'm hungry now. I'm just take it. Give whatever you have. So they collected some different kind of beans and some vegetables and the noodles. And then they shoved that ice on it, like really big ice, you know.
Like a mountain of ice.
Mountain of ice. And like, looking to their tables and say, oh, they're all eating that stuff, you know, this mountain of ice. And then they put some sauce over it. So just to find out it's actually like a dessert, isn't it?
Yep.
So
it's a very healthy dessert, to be fair.
Yeah, but it was delicious. I wouldn't expect it, you know, like
I don't know, in England and probably the same in your country, we always have beans as a savoury food. So that made me laugh. Rene is a photographer and he travels a lot doing photography, which is where Alex and I met him in Jordan.
Yes, yeah.
In Jordan on our round the world trip. And of course we exchanged information. We told Rene that if he is ever in Asia to give us a call and we would be happy to see him again. And over the years we've stayed in touch.
Yeah, that was about 11 years back now.
11 years ago.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's a long time. I remember good that trip in Jordan. It was lovely. We've been a bunch of backpackers there, wasn't we?
Yeah.
And been in one of the hostels and went around and amazing and had quite a lot of fun.
Oh, it was fantastic.
Then down to Petra.
Yes.
And I think party room as well then. And yeah, it was amazing time actually.
But of course, when you're traveling, you never know if you're going to see these people again. You hope you will, but you never really know.
Luckily, we managed to stay in touch, and Taiwan was one of my bucket lists. I've been traveling Asia many years back a lot, but I was more focused than after Jordan on Africa. And meanwhile, from that couple, growing a family.
Yay! Why didn't you travel Taiwan on your previous trips to Asia?
Taiwan was always in my mind as a more expensive country to travel to. When you travel like in India, in Thailand, you know, it's really cheap. You don't care about the budget actually. You go there, it's everything. And then you think of Taiwan, like Japan or Korea, you always think like, oh, that's going to be more costly. So you have to prepare a bit better. You have to not spend too much time. It turned out it's not only you find here like, no, it's pretty affordable actually. It was really nice traveling around without in your head like, you have to hurry up because you have to shorten the time.
Actually, you extended the time.
I extended actually, yeah, right.
And you leave tomorrow. I'm still trying to persuade him to extend the time again. Thank you so much for joining the channel today, and thank you so much for coming to Taiwan and seeing us, because we've loved seeing you again. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. Give me another purpose to come here. So like, give me a push, and like now I'm going to Taiwan and see it, and it was a lovely time here.
Thank you so much, and I will leave all the links to Rene's incredible blog below, because the photos are beautiful and there's lots of information and stories there too that you guys might enjoy. So thank you.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Thank you, babe.
Nice.